I was the angry child. I was a fighter in school. I had a lot of anger, and I didn't know how to manage the anger. I didn't know how to regulate my emotions. Once I got out of high school, I had my daughter at 19, and then that was like a reality check of I have someone else to be responsible for. So I wanted to be different. I didn't really have a lot of guidance on what that was going to look like, but I knew I wanted to be different.
Have you heard the saying, the opposite of addiction is connection? We at the Addiction Prevention Coalition know that there's truth in that adage. And so we are fighting addiction face to face, conversation by conversation, creating connection. Here at The Shield, our new podcast, no topic is off limits because there are no limits when it comes to substance use disorder. Welcome to The Shield. With me today, I'm so excited about this guest because we're just continuing to shine a light on the really amazing, unique things that make Birmingham so vibrant. And I think vibrant is a word that I would use to describe you and my guest today. So with me today is Jamella Stroud. She is a somatic yoga therapist and the founder of Exhale to Excel and Sacred Soma. Welcome to The Shield.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I met you for coffee maybe now a little over a month ago.
Yes, probably about a month.
And we were sort of set up by APC staff member Randy Hall, who is a yogi.
Yes.
And he was like, you need to meet my friend Jamella. So, tell me a little bit, first of all, a somatic yoga therapist. What does that mean? Because most people think yoga is like stretching. Is that what it is? Like, talk to me about what somatic yoga is.
Yes. So somatic yoga, or I'm going to break it up between what a somatic therapist is and what a yoga therapist is. Because I'm bringing in two different modalities into one. So a somatic therapist is someone who focuses on the body and allowing the body to be the place where it reveals what it is that people are ready to heal. So It's not about talking. It's not about like cognitive therapy. It literally allows you to reconnect with your body, understand sensations in your body, understands emotions in your body, and see how those things connect to whatever trauma or whatever it is that a person, or if it's anxiety or depression, PTSD that they're showing up to work through. And it's totally body-based. So when I bring the yoga therapist, yoga is definitely a movement-based practice as well. So yoga therapy is movement yoga that's totally therapeutic in nature. So it's not like the traditional yoga class where it's like an exercise class.
Right.
So it's not exercise. It's about you learning how to reconnect with your body through yoga. So when you bring in somatic yoga therapists, I'm just using, so you can be a somatic therapist doesn't have to be a yoga instructor.
Oh, okay.
Or yoga teacher.
Okay.
But a yoga therapist definitely has to be a yoga teacher. So as a somatic yoga therapist, I bring in practices that are not quote unquote yoga, and I also incorporate yoga practices as well as a somatic yoga therapist.
Okay. Well, so I think I've shared with you before, but I'll just share it here. So I'm definitely not like a yoga enthusiast, but I do appreciate yoga for like the stretching and things like that. I also have done somatic therapy, especially as I've been trying to kind of work through some healing around like relationships, like to be honest. So people would say to me, or I would see on Instagram, that somatic yoga is about, I think you said this too, it's like releasing, like it's cathartic. It's like finding where, it's an alternative form of medicine, right?
Yes,
and
it is medicine.
Finding where the pain or the tension or the trauma is, and then working to release that.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally 100%. It's totally about and I can give you some examples of I've had clients come in with an issue in the shoulder. And this shoulder issue was there. She didn't know what it was. She kept having this issue in her shoulder. What I do as a somatic therapist is we start with breathing practices, movement that's connected to her breath, slow movement. So we start doing some things, shoulder rolls, some neck rolls, just breathing into it. And then I start to become curious about, okay, allowing the client to notice what do they notice after doing some breath work and some movement. What do you notice about this particular area? They may notice that the pain or the tension may move to another place. So we're going to follow it to, okay, where is it now? It may be now in their neck. Okay, let's breathe into that. Let's see what's happening there. You keep breathing, we keep moving. And it's very slow movement with the breath. Like the breath is the most important part because it supports you in slowing down. It supports with the parasympathetic nervous system being able to activate, so the body can come to a place where it feels safe enough to go into the pain, go into the tension, go into the tightness, go into it, and then whatever is there, be able to reveal what story is there. What was revealed in this person's shoulder was an incident that happened when she was probably about 6 years old, where her mom hit her in her shoulder, and it was very traumatic for her. But she could not understand what was the correlation, but once we slowed down, once we started breathing and movement, we were able to see what was the story that was held in her shoulder, which was a trauma for her, and being able to release that.
I mean, I would imagine, like, how long did it take her to move from my shoulder hurts to, oh my gosh, this is related to a trauma?
It was one session.
One session, like yes. 45 minutes.
One session. It was actually 60-minute session. Whoa. One session.
And did she leave there crying? Did she feel lighter? Was she like, I gotta go talk to a therapist? Like,
no. So she left lighter because I'm able to support with the processing of it as well. So again, I start with the body, and I'm asking questions. So they're talking, but the talking is still related to the body. So I'm asking you, okay, what is it that you're sensing now? What does it have a color to it?
Oh,
does it have any texture to it? Is there a story? But this is done in a slower pace. It's not as fast as I'm speaking now. As we move through it. And a lot of times tears do come up. Tears are a form of releasing. There's just a form of your body releasing something that's stored there. It may be shaking. That's a form of releasing. For me, shaking is a huge, shaking in tears are a way that my body releases trauma. Laughing can be a form of releasing. So the body releases things in different ways. So it doesn't have to always be tears. It doesn't have to always look the same for different people, but a lot of times tears do show up and their bodies release it. And once they release the tears, they release the emotion connected to it. It's like, oh, I don't have the pain anymore. Literally, they leave without the pain because they was able to release it and go into it.
So I would imagine that people who, I mean, I'll just speak from personal experience. Like when I was really practicing somatic yoga as a part of healing, I was also going to a mental health therapist. You know, I was also hanging with friends. I was also journaling. So just to be clear, like you're not suggesting that it's like a one-stop shop.
No. So I think it's a part of the healing process because for me, my own personal journey, I started with cognitive therapy. I've been through 12-step programs, like all of these things. 12 steps more so for me because I had an eating disorder. That was my first 12-step program, was going through a program for an eating disorder. So that was part of my journey. I went through those programs. I experienced yoga. I experienced cognitive therapy. And it was like something was still... It was like, okay, I knew the story. I knew the triggers. I could articulate it. I could speak about my emotions, but it was like something was missing. So it can, for some people, it's like a next level to their journey of recovering or healing, however they want to phrase that for themselves. It can be that next level to really get into how it's stored in the body. Because being able to talk about the trauma, being able to articulate it, to express the emotion verbally and not have that same somatic awareness can still create some misalignment within the body. So no, I'm not suggesting that somatic therapy is the one-stop shop. What I'm saying is it depends on where you are in your journey. It could be your first stop, or it can be a stop along your path, stop number 5,
Right. What I'm noticing with people that I talk to that are in recovery from substance use disorder or are healing from a, sexual trauma or a familial trauma or whatever that looks like, is more and more people are really embracing, I'll say, alternative forms. Not because there's anything wrong with more traditional, Western types of approaches, but it seems like more and more people are very concerned and mindful of what they're putting into their bodies. And this word wellness, which has certainly been commandeered and whitewashed and all the things, but it seems like folks are really trying to get back to that concept of being emotionally and physically well.
Yes, being well.
Right.
Yes.
Do you see that too as people are on this path to try to get well?
Yes, I definitely see it. And I saw it for myself. I posted a picture, I think Saturday. It was a picture from 10 years ago. I just reshared a picture from 10 years ago, and someone commented on the picture about how good I looked or something like that, or I was fit, and I think they said in there I was fit and fine or something. And so I started reflecting on what was happening 10 years ago. And I realized that's when I had first entered the space for the eating disorder recovery. I was like, I looked fit and fine, but I was not well. And so that's what I said. I said, I may have looked a certain way, but I was not well. And so for me, my journey was about being well, embodying wellness, not just looking good on the outside, like making sure that my inside and my outside were in alignment, that I was well. So I can definitely see in the path, in the journey of people going more to holistic wellness, like they want their mind and their body to be in alignment. Yeah.
Can we talk about breathing?
Yes.
Because it's something that is so basic. And we do it to stay alive.
Or not. Some
but
people.
we're not doing it right. Correct? So there is a in a couple of sessions, we're going to have somebody on who's actually going to talk about movement through recovery, which is a recovery-based kind of yoga program that they're creating. And I've been going, not because I'm in recovery, but because I want to support, right? And the first 5 minutes are all about breathing.
Yes.
And it is clear to me that I don't breathe right. I even have a tattoo on my arm that I got 2 years ago.
Does it say exhale?
It tells me to exhale.
Oh, I love that.
Because here's what was happening. From the time I was a child, I was type A, eldest daughter, really borderline OCD for real. That's not me just saying, oh, I'm OCD. For real, that's a mental health challenge I have. And I would get in trouble from my parents because I would sigh. And I would be going about my business, and then they would talk to me, or I would be doing homework or whatever, and I would just be like, and what I realized, and they would think that I was,
being disrespectful.
Turns out I just was holding my breath. And so me sighing was my body's way of saying you gotta stop holding your breath, girlfriend.
Right, it was a release.
You gotta check, chill out. And so I don't want a watch that tells me to breathe. Although I know a lot of people have watches that say breathe, stand up, sit down, turn around, whatever. I don't want that. So, sorry, Mom. I got a tattoo that reminds me to breathe. But can you talk about, you didn't know you were going to get all this today, did you? You didn't.
I'm here for it.
Okay,
I'm here for it.
So what are we doing wrong with our breathing, and why is breathing so important?
Well, so breathing, the importance of breathing, it supports with activating the parasympathetic nervous system.
Break that down for people who have no idea what you're talking about.
So the parasympathetic nervous system, that's where, so our nervous system, we have the autonomic nervous system, and things are happening automatically. It tells your heart to beat. It tells your eyes to blink. It tells you to move your fingers and toes. Like, these are things that just happening. It tells your digestive system to work.
Okay.
No one has to tell these things.
Yeah,
That's
it just happens.
Yeah, it just happened.
Okay.
That's through the autonomic nervous system. And then there's two parts of that, which is the sympathetic nervous system. And that's the sympathetic when you're exercising. This is when it should be activating. When you're exercising, when there's a threat, when you have a fear or something that's happening, you go into sympathetic nervous system, which gets you into a heightened state where your body is like, okay, I need adrenaline, I need cortisol, I need to move, I need to go. That's your body's doing what it should be doing.
Okay.
The parasympathetic nervous system, the opposite side of that, is the part of your body that tells you to rest, to digest your food, where you're able to process, where you're able to slow down. So the breath supports with getting into that parasympathetic nervous system so that you can get into this place where you're able to calm down, where you're able to find ease in your body. However, people who have experienced any type of trauma, because trauma, everybody experiences something. It doesn't matter what it is.
Correct. We know from the ACEs and all that work, everybody has some level of trauma.
So you have, and so some people get stuck in that sympathetic activation where their nervous system believes that they're still in whatever the trauma was. So they're constantly in fight or flight. That's impacting their breath. They may hold their breath. So when you're thinking about if you're being chased in a while, you're going fast, your breath is shallow, you're breathing like that.
Is like
yes,
spikes.
It's up, or you may not even be so aware that you're holding your breath while you're doing this. Because your nervous system is in fight or flight.
Yes.
Which it should be if you're being chased in a while.
If you're being chased by a coyote.
Yes, that's what it should be doing. But a lot of people, their nervous system believes that they're in a dangerous situation. So again, they either hold their breath or they're breathing shallow. Yeah. They're not activating that parasympathetic nervous system because they just don't have the awareness, because it's become normalized for them to be in that state. So the breath is important to be able to reconnect, get to that nervous system, that parasympathetic nervous system, so that you can calm down, so that you can reset. And it takes some work when if you've been holding your breath unconsciously for 10 years, it's going to take some work to really be able to take some deep breaths and exhale, because your body and your nervous system has been used to doing it that way. So it has to be retrained to be like, okay, you can breathe. Yes, you can breathe. Like, no, you don't have to hold your breath. You're not in that situation right now. Mm-hmm. But your nervous system doesn't know you're not in that situation. So you have to be able to train it. And the breath is a very easy, simple way to retrain the nervous system. I said a lot.
Do you know how cool you are? Like, I don't know, friends. Like, you're very, like, you have like a energy like that is very calming. I mean, I'm sure that's like helpful with your job. But have you always had that? Or
no.
have you really worked at it? Because I can imagine that you might get stressed, you might, deal with daily life challenges, but you just seem so smooth.
No, I have not always been this way. And this is a good segue into the program, Excel to Excel in the school, because I was the angry child. I was a fighter in school. I have a cut here on my lip because of a huge fight that I got into in high school.
Get out of town, really?
Yes, at the skating ring, went to jail. Like, it was a whole situation. So, no, I have not
always... You were the angry teenage girl.
Yes, I was. I was that girl. And and that was due to a lot of trauma, a lot of unprocessed trauma. Anger is a normal response to unprocessed.
Anger is normal.
Right, it is.
Anger is normal. What's not normal is getting into a fight.
Right. How you manage the anger, that's the part that we need support with. So I had a lot of anger, and I didn't know how to manage the anger. I didn't know how to regulate my emotions. So that went on for throughout my high school year, I think when I got to the 10th grade, I kind of shifted. I had a reality check once I got into the big fight and had to go to court, and the judge told me if I came back, I was going to jail, and I was like, oh, I'm not.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not going to jail.
No,
Yes, I'm not doing that. So no, I wasn't always. And then after that, once I got out of high school, I had my daughter at 19, and then that was like a reality check of I have someone else to be responsible for. Well, I had her at 20. I got pregnant at 19. It was like I have someone to be responsible for. So I wanted to be different.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know really, I didn't really have a lot of guidance on what that was going to look like, but I knew I wanted to be different.
Got it.
But after I had her, that's when the bulimia was triggered. So I became bulimic after I had my daughter. About maybe 2 to 3 years after I had my daughter, bulimia was triggered for me. So that was I was very much OCD, very much like ADHD, like the OCD was really, really bad for me. Like everything had to be in place because I was so disorganized, so chaotic internally.
Inside.
I needed to have my external world and try to shape it for me to feel safe. So no, I have done a lot of work. When I say a lot of work, to get to this place where I am now, where I'm more grounded, more safe within myself. Like literally have this sense of safety within, where my nervous system is regulated. And when it is dysregulated, I know I have the tools and the strategies to be able to come back to myself.
And so that's incredible. And thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah. And you're taking what you sort of, I don't mean this critically, but it's like you're almost doing in schools now what I needed.
Exactly. Yes. I'm giving what I needed.
Exactly. So talk about your Exhale to Excel program, which I just think it's just the bee's knees. Like, just go for it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so Exhale to Excel was a passion project. I'm giving the thing that I needed, that my younger self needed, being able to give that away to students. So what it is a curriculum-based program that teaches social and emotional learning skills to students grade 4th through 12th through yoga, through mindfulness, through movement, through all the aspects of yoga. Because yoga is not just movement. You have mindfulness, you have breath work, you have introspection, different parts of yoga. So we use all the parts of yoga to support the students with being able to learn social and emotional learning skills, and being able to learn how to self-regulate themselves, learn how to identify their emotions, and knowing how they impact their body, but also how that emotion impacts their behavior. So it's really my passion, being able to go to the schools, like some of the transformations that I see, that I witness, and it gives the students a safe place. So in our program, the students do not have to address us by yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. My name is Jamella. That is my name. And they don't have to say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am to me. They don't have to call me Miss Jamella. It's Jamella. Because I want them to know that they have a safe place to just be themselves.
There's not like this power differential or hierarchy.
We're taking all of that away within the kids. Because if I was in a regular yoga class with adults, they don't have to call me Miss. Like, why do these kids have to do that?
I get you.
And I give them a space to be angry, where they can feel the range of their emotions. They get to be angry with me in class. They get to say that they don't want to be in class. So what I do is I create a space for it. If they say, some days I have kids like, I don't want to be here today. I'm like, okay, that's great. Who doesn't want to be here today? Raise your hand. And I'm like, stand up. And I want you to scream it. I want you to jump. I want you to do whatever energy comes with you not want to be here. And I want you to say, I don't want to be here. Just let's get it out. Let's get it. And so when the kids, when they do that, they're like, oh, I get to say I want to be here, and I get to express, and I don't get in trouble for. I'm like, no, go ahead and do it. And after we do that, they're like, oh, I'm good. Like, okay, I can participate. We don't force them.
It's that release. Yes.
And it's that permission for them to be expressive and to not agree with an adult. Like, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. You get to say that you don't want to do this. And if they don't want to participate, they can just lay on their mat. Or if they want to stand, you can stand on your mat. Like, I'm not forcing you to do anything. And a lot of times when I give them that space to just be, they come in. Mm-hmm. They're allowed, because they have space to be like, oh, I don't have to do what you're asking me to do. No, that's your yoga. Today your yoga looks like you want to stand on the mat. Today your yoga looks like you just want to lay down on the mat.
You know what my favorite pose is? What's that one where you just lay there?
Shavasana.
Yeah. That's my favorite pose. And sometimes, I mean, I'm an adult, and sometimes if I'm doing yoga, that's what I want to do.
And most yoga classes, traditionally, they will encourage you to take whatever pose feels right for you.
Whatever is comfortable for you.
Yeah, do what your body needs.
There's so much like adaptable yoga too. Like you can do yoga on a chair. You can do yoga, like you can do kind of whatever you want. And they're like, just don't push yourself.
Right.
Like, that's what I think I like, because for me, you know, I was very overweight as a child. And as a teenager, I was always trying to like do exercise to just like lose weight. Like, and it was a lot of cardio, and I did a lot of things that were very uncomfortable for me. Right. And like sometimes, like I might not be pouring buckets of sweat, but I feel so much better just by like being in the child's pose for 5 minutes, because sometimes that's just like what you need.
That's what your body wants.
I mean? It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
I do.
It is like, it can really be transformative. And I love that you're starting in 4th grade, where you're in Birmingham City.
Yes,
right?
I'm in Birmingham City and Fairfield currently.
I mean, aren't those just the best?
Yes, yeah. And the kids, oh my gosh, we're in 3 schools in Fairfield, and we're in, I think, is it 8 in Birmingham? In Birmingham, we're working with just 5th graders. In Fairfield, we're working with 4th through 12th grade.
And schools pay for it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And they're obviously seeing a difference in probably their students' emotional regulation, I'm sure, you know, discipline referrals, all of that stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't be spending the money to actually pay for you to come, you and your team.
Yes,
right?
We have a team, because I can't do it all by myself.
Oh, right. So if another school district is listening and wants you, do you have the ability to do more?
Yes, we do have the capacity for more schools. We're also working on, this is one of the things I'm really excited about, because my goal is to see this program be globally in schools, or not just in schools, working with children. Is we're creating a training so that we can train others. That, say, if you're a counselor or social workers, we'll be able to train them through the program where they can take our program and be able to facilitate it in other school systems across the world. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
And just to like reiterate, like about yoga, like, you know, some people think that you have to be really fit to do yoga, that it's all it's all body types. Right.
Of course.
And sometimes when you do yoga, like noises come out. Right. I mean, I've done yoga with a lot of teenagers at leadership camp, and they're always farting, and then they're laughing. But like, that's part of the release.
We're normalizing everything, all bodily functions.
Laughing, but look, have you ever been in a yoga class with a bunch of teenagers? There's a lot of farting that happens.
And it's normalized.
Or adults, not even just teenagers.
I agree. Yeah. It's definitely normalized. You normalize it all because it's a natural bodily function.
Yes.
And so with the kids, if someone passes gas, I don't like the word fart.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. You're so polite and calm.
No.
Okay. No. If someone passes gas, how do you handle that?
I'm not telling you not to utilize it. I'm just
looking at Rodney's face, and he's like, "Is this where we've come, Nicole? Is this where we've come?" But it is.
Right.
So how do you handle it when someone passes gas in your class?
So with the kids, of course, they want to point the fingers at. I'm like, no, it's normal. I just normalize it. It's normal, and I just move on. No, this is normal. This is your body doing a natural bodily function. You're going to pass gas. You're going to burp. You're going to do. These are natural, and I actually encourage them not to hold their naturally bodily function. Don't hold it in. If you have to pass gas,
let it go.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be fine.
I was in one class and this lady was like next to me and her stomach was like gurgling because I guess she was like starving or whatever. And it was so loud and everyone was laughing. And the yoga teacher was like, this was years ago. And the yoga teacher was like, it's all very normal.
Right. It's normal.
Just let it go.
Right. It is all very normal. All very normal. So, yeah, when I have that with the kids, it's always funny to see how they respond to it versus how I respond. And sometimes they be looking to see if I'm going to join in with them. Like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah. Like, this is normal. We're going to move on. They passed gas. It's okay. Like, let's keep going. So, yeah.
Are you proud of yourself?
I am. My younger self is so proud of me to see the person that I've become today. My younger self is so proud of me. And I had the question today not today, a couple of days ago. It's like, is your younger self proud of you? Like, would your younger self look at you today and be like, I am so proud of you? And I was like, yes, my younger self would be like, I am so proud of you. Like, you've come a long way. From the little girl that I was, the teenager that I was, the young adult. Oh my gosh, like, I have come a long way. I am totally not the person.
Is your current self proud of you?
Oh yes, my current self is also proud of me, but I always think about my younger self, like looking at that youngest version of me of like, Yeah. But yes, and when you were talking about going back to something, you were talking about the alternative medicines. Just recently in December, I went to Peru to experience even more alternative medicine, which was plant medicine. I experienced ayahuasca, wachuma, rape, and mapachu, and that was even more liberating for me because I didn't go to plant medicine because of trauma. Some people go, to process more trauma. I had done so much trauma processing in my last 2 years, and somatic therapy was like the most intense processing because it was all body based. Like a lot of things I had processed in cognitive therapy, processing it from a somatic perspective is totally
different.
It is like apples and oranges. It is not the same. Not the same.
You can process it in your brain.
Yes.
That doesn't mean your body.
Your body has processed it. So, and that's what it was. My mind had processed it, but my body had not processed it. So I had done all of the processing of the trauma from the mind and the body. So when I went to plant medicine, one of the things that was still lingering was I did not have this sense of just feeling love. Like, what does that feel like internally for myself? Like, truly this essence of loving myself. And I was like, that's my journey with the plant medicine. Like, okay, I want to know what that really feels like from the inception of my being. What would it have felt like if I came to parents who were anticipating my arrival? That was not my story. How would that have been? Like, what would that have felt like? So that was my journey with the plant medicine. And it was very much liberating, very much eye-opening, very much transformative for me to experience the plant medicine. So, yeah.
But you talk about it in a way that does not seem woo-woo or out there or whatever. Like when you're talking about alternative forms of medicine, it really feels like another tool in the toolbox.
That's what it is. That's what it was for me. It was another tool. It was another modality, another holistic modality that was in my path. Like that's what it was.
I'm a crystal person. I mean, I'm just bearing all today. Okay,
right.
I get down with some crystals.
I'm here with you.
Outside,
I understand.
I charge them. I believe in. I believe in that. I got some people in my world that think they're a little out there, and here's the thing. If that helps me, and I'm not hurting anybody.
Right.
And if I got a purple crystal and it helps give me strength and go with my intuition, why can't, who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Who cares? Right?
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it doesn't matter. I'm in circles when it comes to that. I'm going to say God, higher power, source, whatever works for you. Like it, it's a different name, the same energy.
Yeah.
Like whatever works for you. And for me, traveling the world, like hosting retreats in Bali. Bali was
Notice how she just drops that in there, Ronnie.
all right.
When I host retreats in Bali, Ronnie's become like the person that I just have to sometimes just look at and go, "Did you hear that? The way that I heard that?" Okay, I'm sorry. As you're hosting retreats in Bali,
as I'm hosting retreats in Bali, like because I've been there, like Bali really transformed, like opened my eyes. Like it's such the energy in Bali is such a spiritual energy, like being able to allow people, well, not just allow, like just give space for people to be and connect with God, source, whatever, in the way that they do it. Like Bali really was transformative for me in that way, because I went there and these people, when I say that they have such reverence for the God of their understanding, it is just amazing. Like it's not like a one day a week that they have this reverence. It's like every day, morning, noon, and evening, they have this reverence. They have these different rituals that they do. And I was like, this is just so beautiful, like so beautiful to witness this, like so I guess for me, like being able to see other people culture and understand like these people, they're not doing anything to harm anyone, like they're different but it doesn't cause harm to anyone. So why does it matter if they do something different? And I was like, I actually like some of the things that they do differently.
No kidding.
Like,
No kidding.
Like,
Well,
I
and
like
I'd
some of those
imagine the
things.
students you're reaching at the schools are also sort of embodying that too, right? Where they are showing up differently.
Mm-hmm.
They are going home or going into their community and they are embodying something
Yes.
a little more peaceful, a little different, a little alternative than perhaps a quote unquote normal teenager in 2025.
Right. And it's gonna take so much more of this work. Because at the same time I also do realize that we're in the schools once a week.
Yep.
One day.
Right.
And the kids go back to their environments. And they're in their environments more time than they have in our space. But I do know the time that they do have in our space is impactful for them. I have experiences with kids. I had this little girl who she gave me so many, like she was just like, I call her she was my gift, because she came, her energy was big. She was so small. She was in the 4th grade. She was like this little. And she just was very much non-compliant. I'm okay with non-compliant kids. I'm not.
You were one.
Yeah, yes, yes. I'm so okay with non-compliant kids. So I'm not trying to get you just to be in compliance. So she was very much non-compliant, and I just allow her to be. When she would be non-compliant, okay, oh, you can just sit there, or you can stand on your mat, whatever it is that you want to do. And it was one particular time after her doing this, like throughout probably about 2-3 months, and she saw that I was going to be the same no matter how much she did. Like I was not changing. I was not getting upset. I am still the same. I am still holding my space within me. I am the same.
And you kept coming back.
Right. No matter how much the riffraff she gave me. And we had one particular class where she didn't want to participate. She was upset. She was mad at me. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I love that. Like, I welcome all of that. And she stood to the side, and then we got to play this game. It was called the Feeling Charade game.
Oh.
And the little girl, she was like, can I play? I'm like, sure, you can play. She didn't do anything else in class. She stood there mad until it got to the game. I was like, sure, I'm going to welcome you back in. Whenever you want to come in, you can come back in. And so we were playing the Feeling Charade, and we was asking different questions like, what makes you feel happy? What makes you feel joy? What makes you feel sad? And she was sitting right in front of me. She was like, can I tell you what makes me feel sad? I don't want to say it out loud. And I said, sure, you can tell me. So she came and whispered in my ear, and she said, what makes me feel sad is when my stepdad beats my mom.
Oh my God.
Right. And I was like, oh wow. Like, and so everything about her made so much sense. It made so much sense then.
Totally. It all came together.
Yeah, and then the fact that she felt safe enough to come tell me. But again, when I tell you, she was giving me the business for about 2 or 3 months. She was literally, but I never changed who I was towards her. Regardless of how much she gave me, I was still there. I was still a safe place. I was still saying that, okay, you don't have to participate. You get to be upset. I offered her the space to just be.
Wow.
And she shared that with me. And I was able to hold space for her because we had a small class that day. Hold space for what she was experiencing. She went on to share more, and she shared how she was scared, but she felt like she felt so much better by saying something. She was like, I've been scared to say something, but I feel so much better. And I looked at her and I said, you are so brave for saying something. You are so brave. And I said, thank you for sharing with me. Now, by this time, I'm crying. I'm in tears.
Course. Right, exactly.
Like, I'm in tears.
Like, I gotta tell the school.
Right,
what's going
right,
on. Great.
right.
Like, great.
So I'm crying, and she asked me. She was like, "Can I give you a hug?" And I was like, "Sure." She was crying, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm trying to get myself together." But I'm like, "But no, I'm human. Like, I can feel her pain, and it makes so much sense as to why she acted the way that she acted." Like, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I said, and then after that, her and I would check on her. Of course, I had to report it to the school. Had to do all of that. And then I would check on her just to see how she was. And I had to let her know that I had to report it to the school because I didn't want to violate her trust in me. So I let her know that I reported to the school, and it's like a light just came on for her after she released the weight of carrying that, and she was seen, and she was felt, and she was heard. And that's one of the things about the program is we give the kids the space to be seen, to be felt, and to be heard with whatever it is that they're experiencing.
Well, I'm going to leave it there. I mean, I don't even have any words. Thank you so much for what you do for adults. Thank you for what you do for our young people. I know both of the school administrators love what you do. So please keep doing it.
Thank you.
If you are interested, we will tag all of Jamella's socials in this. So if you're interested in bringing this to your school or interested in, doing some body work yourself, retreats in Bali, please hit her up. And if you like what you heard, please consider rating, reviewing, and subscribing to The Shield. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.